Alright, hello everyone, and welcome to this tier 2 stream around France. Paul Ricard will be the host to the 6th round in the championship, reaching the halfway point now, pretty much in the season. Just one more race and we would have passed the halfway mark, but MW15 and Disney Mason will be the first two drivers to set lap times, going for the soft compound tyres, which aren't optimal for the strategy around here, but you can do a softer hard, which can work very well. And if you're able to stretch the tyres, you are able to do a soft to medium, but you'll need some very good tyre saving there. But I think the preferred strategy today will be the medium to hard, as it's the most efficient, but you can also do the medium to soft, so it'll be interesting to see what people do on the strategy. But as you can see, MW15 is a lot quicker than Disney Mason on this flying lap so far. He has a lot more pace than the Ferrari, who's run very wide out of the last corner. Is going to give MW15 a nice slipstream up to the line. What will MW15 do on his bank? He does a 30.9, so a good lap from the McLaren to start proceedings. But I definitely expect that lap time to be broken by multiple drivers. Let's just run on board with Dirt here, who's on the lap. Currently P3 in the standings. We'll be hoping for a good result here in France, but I think he's backed off and he's going for a second lap on those softs. Prems is on a lap. He's just about to finish his lap. Will he move himself up onto the front row alongside his teammate? Yes, he does. He goes purple with a 1:36, a very nice lap time from Prems. To put himself up into P1, but his Wanis is also on a lap here, so let's see what the Red Bull driver can do. Can he put himself up into the front row and ruin the McLaren party right now? But Jetsy was also on a lap, but he invalidated through sector 1, so unfortunate for the Alfa Romeo driver. But can Haswanis go on to the front row with this lap? He does with a 29.9, so a very nice lap time from the Red Bull. He now moves himself onto provisional pole. His Dirt goes P5 with 35.4. I think that was the lap he backed out of, so not representative of his paces. He's pulling into the pit lane. He's had enough of those medium compound tyres. He's going to strap on a set of the softs like everyone else and hope for the best. HRUK also went for a lap on the mediums, but he unfortunately invalidated, just like his Ferrari counterpart. Jetsy's into the pit lane. He doesn't want to go for 2 laps. Money in the cheeks, however, is purple through sector 2, so let's see what the Red Bull driver can do as he heads towards the end of his lap. Can he put himself alongside his teammate as he gets the car nicely rotated through that turn, and now he's coming up to the final few corners of the track. Can he put himself on provisional pole as he rounds the final corner? He's run a bit deep and missed the apex, but he hasn't got a great exit either, so this might not be the best lap for the Red Bull. Let's see what it is. He runs to the line. It's a 1:31.4, so he puts himself into P4 behind his teammate and the 2 McLarens. The 2 Ferraris also set lap times, but everyone else yet to set a lap. Jabil has invalidated. Dan Snyder's on a lap, and so is HRUK. Dan Snyder's a bit further ahead on his lap, so let's ride on board with him. 49.9 through this second sector split. So very nice lap time from the Dutch driver, who could put himself on provisional pole, of course, if he can keep this lap nice and tidy as he comes around the bend. Drops it down into second, not optimal, of course. You want to be taking that corner in third if you can, but it won't lose him too much time. Very aggressive on the downshift, down to fourth, gets the apex hooked nicely, gets a nice exit off the final corner as he runs to the line. Where will he put his Alfa Romeo? It will be P2 with a 132, so his Juanis has not been toppled by the Alfa Romeo of Dan Snyder yet, and Dan Snyder looks like he's not on the pace as HRUK goes P5 with a 31.3 on the mediums. So a nice lap time from the Alpine, who's going to be putting himself on the optimal strategy, starting on those tyres. But Dizzy Mason is on another outlap. He's going for the mediums as well, so he's going for the same strategy as HRUK and the same strategy that his teammate Dirk tried, which didn't pay off for his teammate. But I presume that's why his lap time is considerably off the pace. He probably backed off so he could have a go on the mediums. But let's run on board with Conan Clunt now, who's on a lap. Can he put himself anywhere near the top? Actually, let's jump to his Dutch compatriot, Prince Clonte, who's about to finish his lap. Can he put himself anywhere near the front row? Yes, he can. He does a 30.5. It's not good enough for the top positions though at the moment, so he will have to go again to get pole position. But HRUK is cutting corners, so that will be a penalty, unfortunately for him. But Jetsy is on a lap time, so let's see what the Alfa Romeo driver can do. He's perfectly set to 1, does a 22. A very solid first sector. Obviously we saw him do a 22.2 early in the session, I believe, but he invalidated. So let's see what his second sector split is going to be. He's coming up to a bit of traffic of Dirk, I believe, as Dirk gets out of the way nicely, but he just, I think, was put off a little bit by the Ferrari as he slightly locked up into the corner, and he's done a 50.0 middle sector, so about a tenth slower than what his teammate did in the middle sector. So let's see what he can do in the final sector. Can he make up time where we saw his teammate lose a bit of time clearly as Prince gets out of the way nicely? The man currently sitting P3, but possibly could be toppled by Jetsy as Jetsy's coming to the final three corners. Prince almost getting in the way there, but not much he could have done because of the pit lane entry. But as they run to the line, what is Jetsy going to do? It's going to be a 30.1. He puts himself onto the front row, but not in front of Haswanis, who's currently the provisional pole man here in France. So very good lap time from him so far. But Jetsy and Dan Snyder currently sit P2 and 3, and Prems is on a lap. He's about 3 tenths up, so this could put him up into P4 if he can keep the pace, or maybe he can gain some and put himself onto the front row. What's going to be for Prem is going to be a 130.4, so he goes P4 with that lap time. Not enough to overtake the Alfa Romeos, but he does overtake Prince. Dizzy Mason was 4 seconds up, but unfortunately for him invalidated. Milky Streamer goes P9 with a 32.2. Conan Cronk went P10 with a 33.4, and Dizzy Mason's had a moment out of the final corner, and Jayville is on an outlap on the medium, so also opting to try qualify on those tyres. But HIK has gone back on his decision, and he's going to try start on the soft compound tyres. So let's see what he can do. Towards the end of this session, it'll be an interesting one for sure. Hopefully the Alpine driver, who's been struggling for form so far this season, can put himself into a good position. But Dan Snyder is on a lap, and he has a bit of a moment out of turn 2, but he shouldn't lose awful amount of time as he breaks at the 50-meter board for turn 3, gets turn 4 and 5 nailed as well. So he exits the first sector. He's about 1.5 tenths up. It's a very good first sector from him as he now rounds turn 7 onto the long back straight. Hopefully he can gain some more time on this lap so he can push himself up onto provisional pole. Takes the curve very aggressively, keeps it within track limits barely, but is perfect from the Alfa Romeo now, who ends the second sector. He's about 2.5 tenths up. This will be a provisional pole lap if he can carry on this pace as he comes to start this as he starts sector 3 now, braking down into 4th gear. Doesn't quite hit the apex, but it's okay because you can take the apex wide on that corner, and that's rain on the screen. It started raining and it's put Dan Snyder off as he misses his apex there and just gets on the curb, which would have lost him quite a bit of time as he comes to the final corner. What will Dan Snyder do? And surely this will be session over for most drivers as it started to rain here at the end. What can Dan Snyder do as he comes to the line? It will be a 1:30.0. He cannot improve to pole position, and I believe that will be the end of his qualifying session as Wanis is also on the lap. Thank you for the follow, Racing T1 Diabetes, and welcome to the stream. You're joining us in a very tense qualifying session where it's just started raining at the end. Can Wanis improve on his lap time? We saw him about 1.5 tenths up through the second sector, but it started to rain, which was surely putting him off his lap as he just pulls into the pit lane, so he's not improving. So does this mean that no one else will improve? I'm not seeing a lot of improvement from any other drivers, and I'm seeing a lot of people in the pit lane. Look at that, Javille is struggling to get any heat, any grip into his tyres, and everyone... Oh, as Dirk has a massive moment going sideways. DRS is disabled, so that is session over. That is qualifying session over, and it will be Wanis on pole position for the first time. For the first time this season, he takes pole position and topples the Alfa Romeos, who just weren't close enough today, as Dirk is not having the greatest qualifying session himself. Just going to have a look at the gaps to leaders. So Wanis takes it by about a tenth. Fantastic lap from the Red Bull driver, who takes it by about a tenth. And then it's about 500s back to Jetsy, who will be disappointed to start in P3. Prems will start P4. I'm sure he'll be happy with that result from McLaren. Prince starts P5. Mania de Cheek will start P6. MD15 starts P7. AJK will start P8 on the medium compound tyres though. Milky Streamer will start 9th on the softs, and JBL will start 10th on the mediums. Conan Cron, Dizzy Mason and Dirk will all have a free choice of tyre for the race, but everyone is into the pit lane apart from Dizzy Mason, who's gone out to try get some wet tyre practice, and at the moment it's not paying off for the Ferrari, who loses it. And is that, oh yeah, Jetsy is also on a lap, but I presume he will pull into the pit lane as he will definitely not be improving, and he's also invalidated. So unfortunate for the Dutch driver, who's already taken 3 poles, I want to say, this season, and he will not be taking another as Wanis has taken his first pole position of the season. Obviously he won here last season in NRL, I think, so this is a happy hunting ground for the Red Bull driver, who's also picked up his first pole position of the season. So can he convert on what is going to be a very interesting French Grand Prix? Everyone is starting to retire in the pit lane now, so Dizzy Mason is going to be the last person to complete a lap. So let's just ride on board with the Ferrari and listen to the nice sound effects as he's already invalidated through turn 2. So never mind, but we can ride on board with the Ferrari to see what he can do on the rest of this lap. But I don't think it's not going to amount to anything. So Haswanis takes pole. Snyder and Jetsi will round up the top 3 for Alfa Romeo. Prems P4, Prinz P5, Money the Cheeks will start P6, Emily 15 7th, 8th for HRUK, Milky Streamer, J-Bill, Koninkron, Dirk and Dizzy Mason. For qualifying session for Ferrari, he will start 12th and 13th respectively, but they can go on an alternate strategy which can hopefully win this, hopefully get them up into the top 10. But Dizzy Mason is not having the best time on the intermediate tyres, but will be retiring. Will be retiring as soon as he gets into pit lane. He takes a very interesting pit lane entry. But now all 13 cars are back into the pit lane, and that will be it for qualifying today, as Elite Casper joins right at the end when he can't join when he can't join in anymore. So that is rather unfortunate for the Aston Martin, who will have to watch from the sidelines for this race. Hopefully he can be back next week, but let's run you through the final grid order. It says Wanis on pole position, Dan Snyder starts Dan Snyder starts P2, with Jetsi starting P3 and Prems P4. Prince Coronto starts P5, when the Cheeks P6, Emlo 15 7th, HRUK 8th on the medium combat tyre. Milky Streamer will start 9th, Jayville will start 10th, also on the mediums, and Koninkron, Dizzy Mason and Dirk will start 11th, 12th and 13th respectively. I presume all of them will go for the medium or the hard compound tyre in this race. And ready is kit. I see it's he's getting it wet race in some race. Have to wait and see as Zwanis now will be getting ready to lead us away for the first time this season, as the Red Bull driver will have a big task on his hand to keep behind those two Alfa Romeos, so I'm sure will be very fast off the race start. But we have seen we have seen quite a few mistakes from them over the course of this season so far. So maybe Haswanis might have a chance, but as you can see, the predicted strategy is a 2-stop from the inters to the inters to the inters. I'm not sure if it's staying wet all race, but if it is, I presume that will be a strategy. If it does dry up, however, obviously the strategy will change. But if it stays wet all race in these conditions, I won't be afraid. I won't be surprised to see any one-stoppers. I can definitely see someone like Dirk going for that alternate strategy, doing the one-stop onto the inters, going away from the crowd. He's definitely one of those drivers who has very good tyre management, as Conan Klon and Dizzy Mason are disqualified from the formation lap as they make a bit of contact, as the two Mercedes make contact, and they will both be disqualified as well. A bit of a stupid collision there from the two Mercs, but we will be getting ready to rumble in Tier 2. Can Haswanis win on, I believe, home soil? I'm not sure if he's French, but I think he is French. But it's definitely a happy hunting ground for the Red Bull driver who won here last season and now starts on pole position. Can he convert on his first pole of the season, or will Dan Snyder or Jetsi, who's been rather unlucky this season, take the win? Or could we see a surprise winner from outside the top 3? Anything can happen here today. It's a wet race, possibly with dry conditions coming later, but we'll have to wait and see as we go towards lights, red lights, and it's lights out and away we go off the line. It's a good start for Haswanis. He retains his lead in towards turn 1. Everyone's a bit tentative in towards turn 1, but the two Red Bulls and the Alfa Romeos retain position. It's a good start from Prince as Jetsi runs wide. Prince trying to get the move done as there's a bit of contact between AJUK and Prems, but Prems has had a poor start and he's down into P6. Is now Jayville's going for a massive dive down the inside on Prems. Prems sees it coming, defends well. Dirk has had an amazing start. He's up from P13 up into P8 as he overtakes Money the Cheeks, who's also had a poor start here at the back. MW15 has also had a poor start, and that's Dizzy Mason who's spinning off and into the barriers and out of the race. It's an unfortunate incident for the Ferrari, who's now out after just a lap and a virtual safety car is deployed. What a start, and what a start for Haswanis. A Revy 2.6 seconds is the gap. Amazing start from the Red Bull. Jetsi also, we saw going side by side with Prince, who got an amazing launch off the line. Jetsi ran a bit off track, but Prince just wasn't able to get the move done. AJOK has also had a good start. He's moved up past the McLaren of Prince, who's dropped 2 positions from where he started. But let's have a look at let's have a look at the position changes off the first lap. Drayville up 3 positions. Good start from the Mercedes. Prems is down 2, so not what he would have wanted. Great start from AJK. He's also up 3. Dirk is up 5, so he had an amazing start. Menu Cheeks down 3. Emdo 15 down 3. Lucas Streamer down 2, and now he's also got a drive-through to serve. So that is rather unfortunate for the Mercedes driver, who now pulls into the pit lane. But let's get back to the battle at the top. The gap is 1.5 now. So Swanner sets the fastest lap, and expect to see some action here between MW15 and Money the Cheeks. MW15 had a look down the inside, but just decided to stay behind as he couldn't get anything going for him into turn 1. But he's now fallen off a bit from the Red Bull driver. But Prems now is going to be all over the back of AJUK. He's all over the back of Prince, who's seemingly struggling already. Could not keep up with the pace of the Alfa Romeos, and AJUK looks fast off this race start. Maybe he can work his way up into P4 if he can get past Prince Colonte, but he cannot. He runs a bit deep actually, and this might give Prems the switchback, as Prems now is going to have the look on the outside. AJK gets on the curb, so gets a poor exit, but Prems now is going to get the move done. AJK trying his best to defend it. The Prems is easily ahead before the right-handers. Jetsy runs very wide, and AJK and Prems both follow him into the mistake of running wide, and I presume all three drivers there picked up exceeding track limits warning, as AJK has now lost 2 places in 1 lap, as him running wide invited Jayville. He unfortunately mistimed his braking and ran into the back of AJK, as he's now into the pit lane as he received damage there from that incident. So unfortunate for the Ferrari driver, who had a good start to this race, but unfortunately tried to be too opportunistic and ran into the side of AJK. But Haswanis now gap is about 1.9, so he's just managing the gap to the two Alfa Romeos, who don't seem to have the pace to drive with Haswanis at the moment, as my point is proven, as Dan Snyder's already picked up a 3-second time penalty, although we're only 3 laps into this race, and he's the first driver to do so. So it shows how much these Alphas are pushing the limits, and they're still not able to keep up with Haswanis. So great pace from the Red Bull so far, but Prems might be having a look on Jayville down towards the tricky braking section, but Prems will be having a look at Manya de Cheeks, but Manya de Cheeks defends it well, and he's now having a look at AJK, who I think might have gone damage from his little battle with Prems, as he's fallen off the pace quite a bit. He squeezes Manya de Cheeks to the inside. Manya de Cheeks is going to get the move done. MW15 is also going to have a look on the inside. It's very treacherous, and they have to be careful. But MW15, AJK leaves the space, to be fair to him. MW15 is going to slide it down the inside of the Alpine, who's quite clearly struggling, and he's now down to P9. So rather unfortunate scenes for the reigning Tier 2 champion, who had an amazing start, but unfortunately I think might have picked up damage, is dropping back now. But Jayville is having a look all over Prince, and he gets the switch back on the AlphaTauri driver. AJK's into the pit lane, so I presume damage, like I said. But here comes Jayville down towards turn 1. Can he get the move done around the outside on Prince? Prince defends the inside aggressively, but he runs too deep, and Jayville gets a beautiful switchback, and now this is going to invite Prems to have a look at him. And AJK's into pit lane for softs. I don't know if that is way too early, but he's taking a gamble. Prems is going to send it down the inside, and he's going to get the move done just about, but Prince is going to fight back. Koenig-Klon is spun in the first out of turn 2, but this amazing Prems and Prince, but Prince just about defends it, but Prems will have the run down the straight with the ERS advantage, but Prince has a lot more, but Prems has the slipstream, and he's going to try around the outside. Can he make it move? No, he can't. He just has to stick behind the AlphaTauri at the moment, but he might have the move coming out of the 2 corners, but I think Prems will have this I think Prince will have this covered, and yes he does. MRO15 might also have a look on Manya de Cheeks, but let's keep an eye on AJK's pace. He's gone for the softs very, very early. Dirk is going to get past him, and AJK might have gone too early, as yeah, it looks like he's struggling quite a lot on those soft compound tyres. Welcome to the stream, Luca Rosman, of course supporting Jayville as usual. As Jetsy, we called that live, had a massive moment and nearly put himself into the wall, but it's a great drive from Haswanis so far, who stretched the gap to almost 2 seconds. So a very good drive. It's just starting to run wide again, so the Alfa Romeos do not have the pace to stick with him at the moment. It's a great drive at the moment from Haswanis. So let's see if Jayville can possibly catch up to the 2 Alfa Romeos, who seem to be seemingly struggling, as Koenig-Klon is also into pit lane. Let's keep an eye yeah, AJK, those softs are not working at all. He's fallen back about 2 seconds from Dirk already, and Conan Cron is in for Inter, so it's way too early for the softs. A nice try from the Alpine, but unfortunately he will just be losing time as the track is not ready for the softs. And that's Dan Snyder. That's Dan Snyder. Dan Snyder is round. Dan Snyder is round. He falls to P6 in this race. Disaster for the Alfa Romeo driver, who now be under Mayu de Cheeks. He has to take it very tentatively, and here comes Mayu de Cheeks. He's going to look to the inside maybe. No, he's going to stick behind. MW15 might have a look on him, as Dan Snyder's running very wide, and that is disastrous. Down at Alfa Romeo, Dan Snyder, who was running P2, has lost the rear end, and now he's going to be all under pressure from Mayu de Cheeks and MW15, and he might have to box here, as I presume those inters will be very overheated. But Prems is still all over the back of Prince Colonte, and the gap between Jayville and Jetsi is slowly coming down, and now Haswanis has a 4-second gap to the next car, as Dan Snyder, who's running about 1 second behind, 1 to 2 seconds behind, has now spun and dropped to P6, but he will be in that battle as Conan Cron is not having the greatest race. He spins again, but this battle for P4 is definitely hotting up. Prems is all over the back of Prince, and Dan Snyder, who will be desperate to prove a point after spinning, will be desperate to overtake these guys to get back to where he was before his spin. But Prems now might have another look. He has 0 ERS though, but these guys won't know that, as everyone's lights is flashing. No one will know who's out of ERS due to everyone's light flashing, which happens when you are in the wet. As if you don't know, more energy is recovered when you are in wet conditions. But it looks like Prems there, I don't know if he had a moment or he was just going to the side of the track to pick up some water puddles there to cool his tyres. But he's all over the back of Prince and has been for a couple of laps. A very nice helmet ran by the McLaren driver, running a Ukraine-inspired helmet in commemoration of what's happening right now in Ukraine. But Prince oh no, I thought he was going into pit lane. He just ran very wide. This is going to give Prems a nice exit, possibly a switchback move, but it just doesn't look. He just has no ERS. He used it on as a virtual safety car. That is because AJUK has lost his wing, and he is into the wall and out of this race. AJUK is out of the race, and will that be a full safety car? If you're Haswanis, you'll be begging for it not to be. And Haswanis, at the moment, doesn't look like he'll be a full safety car. At the moment, it doesn't look like it'll be a full safety car, but a virtual safety car it will be. But the car's now end of this virtual safety car. Hopefully no one picks up a penalty for speeding under VSC, and MW15 does just that and picks up a penalty. I believe he's the only one who unfortunately has picked up a penalty, so he'll have to come in within the next 3 laps to serve that. Just a bit of a stupid mistake from the McLaren driver. There's no need. But Prems now, his teammate is going to be having a look at Prince Colonte. Prince is defending as best he can, but he's run very deep, and this is going to give Prems the switchback move. Prince is going to drive off track to try to defend this position, but Prems is going to send it to inside. Very nice driving from the two contenders to P4 at the moment, and that's Snyder is going to send it down the inside of Prems, who was preparing a switchback move on on Prince Cronte, and he's had a massive moment, and he's nearly lost it out of turn 1, and now he's going to be out of the final turn. He's going to be under pressure from Money in the Cheeks now, and that was very close to disaster for Prems, as Conan MW15 is in service drive through, and Dirk now. Let's keep an eye on this battle. Dirk is all over the back of Milky Streamer, so he might make a move as Prems picks up a 3-second time penalty. Milky Streamer is going to defend, but Dirk is going to go to the inside. He's not having any of it as he gets down the inside and up into P9. Nice move from the Ferrari driver, who now has to hunt down MW15 in front of him. But this battle for P4 is great at the moment. But now Snyder now is going to have a look at Prince, as he has a lot more grip and a lot more confidence in the car as of right now. Prince has been struggling from the start, as that's Milky Streamer who's round, and he he will drop to P. Actually, he won't drop because Colin Cron is unfortunately for him too far away to benefit. But Stan Snyder is going to get the move done down the inside on Prince, but he's going to have a massive moment on exit, and Prince is going to get the move done back on him. But Dan Snyder is going to send it to the inside. Could Prince look for a move into the final corner? Dan Snyder holds his line of defense quite well, but he goes quite deep, and that's a 3-second time penalty for the race leader Haswanis. So that could open things up for Jetsy if he can get within 3 seconds. But Dan Snyder is now back up into P4, but he's run wide through turn 1. He's going to give Prince the run. Prince can't get the move done, but here comes Prems. Prems is coming for redemption. He's done the switch back on Prince. Can he look for the move on Dan Snyder? No, he's going to go side by side with Prince. He's going to get the move done on the AlphaTauri now, and he's up into P5. He's up to P5 as Prince has a massive moment on the exit of the first section. It's going to give Money in the Cheeks now the run. Money in the Cheeks is 100% ERS. Great management from the Red Bull, who now goes for the move on goes for the move on Prince. Can he make the move done down towards? Is Dan Snyder picks up another 3-second time penalty. Money in the Cheeks gets the move done up into P6 now for the Red Bull driver, but Prince is probably going to fight this back, and yes he will, as they come to the long bend. Prince is always going to go for a late move down the inside, and there's contact, and he just about keeps the car facing the same way. Nearly disaster for the AlphaTauri, as Money in the Cheeks now has gone flustered and also made a mistake like the AlphaTauri. But Dan Snyder now on 6 seconds of time penalties. Let's have a look at his gap to leader. He is 17 seconds off the lead, but he's into the pit lane now. But he has the most penalties out of everyone, as Haswanis set a new fastest lap there. I just missed it, and he's 5.2 ahead of Jetsy now. So imperious pace from the Red Bull right now. Even if he has that 3-second time penalty, is a late safety car. It doesn't look like it will affect him too much. As Dirk is going to overtake Dan Snyder, who's now into the pits for the Inter. So Dan Snyder could stretch this to the end, or he might be going for the 2-stop strategy, which we saw in predictive stop strategy earlier in this race. That he will be all over the back of his championship rival Dirk. Straight off his pit stop, he's having a massive moment. I wonder if he went for a dry setup and now he's struggling, as every time I've ridden on board with him on the rear end, he's not been able to control his Alfa Romeo. But that is Milky Streamer who's out of the session, and that is a full safety car. And Haswanis just passed the pit lane, so did Jetsy, and J-Will is in. Will the safety car catch these guys? Yes, it does. Haswanis does not overtake the safety car, and neither does Jetsi. So Haswanis and Jetsi will be stuck on the safety car. Meanwhile, everyone else is in for fresh tyres. This will be disastrous for the two leaders at the moment, who will drop to because everyone else here can box for new tyres and can probably stretch it to the end, but these guys have to go an extra lap, and by the time they won't be able to pit, so they're gonna have to stay out. So this is open up the race. If your name is Jayville, Prems, Dan Snyder, Money the Cheeks, Prince Cronte is giving you a way back into this race if you're Dirk or MW15 or Conan Cron. But this will be, Conan Cron's already been lapped, unfortunately for him. But this will be very interesting to see what happens now. This is Wanis and Jetsi both passed the pit lane when the safety car was deployed, which is so unfortunate for them. But Jayville will be in the driving seat of this safety car restart. He has no penalties and he's on the fresh tyres in P3, so this will be great for the Mercedes driver. But you have to feel for Hoswanis, who'd been driving an impeccable race up until the safety car came out. Hopefully he can sort himself out and win. Hopefully he can sort his strategy out and possibly win this race. If it stays wet the whole race, he can try stay out on the inters, but no, he's going to take the pain now. He's going to box for new tyres now, and so is Jetsi. They're going to get it out of the way, so that means Jayville now leads this race ahead of Dan Snyder, Prems, Maya the Cheeks, Prince Cronte, MW15, Dirk and Conan Cron. So unfortunate for the Red Bull and Alfa Romeo driver Jetsi, a man who's had the pace, but he's just been so unlucky this season. Is hit with more bad luck once again, as he will now drop to P7 in this race, and as Vanis, who's driving an impeccable race, will drop to P6. The benefit they have is that they will have the freshest tyre, but it is pretty much irrelevant as it's only one lap fresher tyres, and one of those laps for most of the grid was under safety car, so no real advantage gained for either driver. But I think everyone will be going to the end now on these tyres, as I don't presume many people will make another pit stop on these tyres. But Conan Cron has actually Conan Cron actually didn't get lapped, so he has to catch up to safety car pack, but he's so far behind and he's going to take him an age. Luca Rosman, I'm not sure if it will rain for the whole race. No one told me, I didn't even know it was going to rain in qualifying, yet alone the race. So I had no idea. I have no idea of what the weather forecast is at the moment, but it keeps the race interesting. Hopefully it dries up for those drivers who haven't been able to perform so far in these mixed conditions. But the grid now is Jayville, Dan Schneider, Prems, Maya the Cheeks, Prince Clonte has Wanis, Jetsi, Offso, who dropped P7, MD15, Dirk 2864, and Conan Clon, who has to catch the pack and is about a minute away, so it might take some time for the Haas to catch the pack. But whilst they are all under safety car conditions, I will take this time to run you through the grid, to run you through the driver standings. It is currently Dan Snyder, who leads the championship for Alfa Romeo with 90 points and 3 wins so far. Hezwanis gets overtaken by Jesse, and Hezwanis, I think, might have had a moment out of turn 2 as Jesse's just overtaken him and he was off track. So Hezwanis, unfortunately for him, has dropped another position in this race. Now Jesse will benefit from the Red Bull's misfortune and move up into P6. MW15 tried to get past as well, but unfortunately for him could not. But anyways, Jesse on 70 points in P2, Dirk P3 with 52 points, Prince, who currently runs P5 in this race, is P4 in the driver's standings with 46 points. Crumpton, who's now been promoted to Tier 1, is 5th with 45 points. VR Josh is 6th with 32 points. Hezwanis is 7th with 26 points. The safety car will be in this lap, so Colin Cron will not catch it at all. MW15 is P8 with 23 points. Prence's teammate is P9 with 16. Pinty P10 with 16. Jayville P11 with 14. DRA Norwegian Boy P12 with 10. Hilstadino P13 with 7. AJUK P14 with 5. Konigkrom P15 with 3. Yellow King 16th with 0. AJUK 17th with 0. Harry with 0. Casper with 0. Dutchy by the Way with 0. And Milkashima also with 0 points. But we're getting ready for the safety car restart. How late will Jayville leave it? He's going to weave for quite a while, and he's going to go now. He goes quite late, and it's actually giving Prems quite a nice run down the straight. Money the Cheeks is also going to be under pressure from Prince. Does Hezwanis have a look maybe on Jetsy, as Money the Cheeks has been overtaken by Prince in towards turn 1, but Money the Cheeks is going to fight this back down towards turn 3. Can he get the move down the inside? Prince runs very wide, and this is going to give Jetsy a look on the AlphaTauri now, who cuts the corner a bit to retain his position. Now, I'm sure the game will penalise him fairly with a warning, as Hezwanis has a big moment on the exit of that corner, and now MW15 is going to be under pressure from Dirk down the straight, as Dirk has a lot more speed than the Ferrari down towards the low braking section, but Dirk fakes the move, makes MJ15 brake late, but luckily MJ15 keeps it under control and doesn't lose too much time. But the top 3 are already breaking away from those behind them, and Hezwanis will be having a look all over the back of Jetsy. Now, we know he is probably the quickest driver here today, but unfortunately due to poor strategy he's down to P7, but he's having a look now on Jetsy, who gives him a bit of a squeeze over the corner. And now MW15 can attack the Red Bull driver, but unfortunately for him doesn't make anything stick. So everyone retains their positions apart from Manya de Cheeks. Oh no, Manya de Cheeks actually got back past the AlphaTauri of Prince. He's now going to be under pressure from the Alfa Romeo of Jetsy also, but it looks like Jetsy will stick behind for now. Hezwanis will not be loving life down in P7 at the moment. He knows he's a quicker driver than this and has a lot more to show than what he's currently producing, but he'll have to make some moves if he wants to win this race. It's not going to be easy, but Jayville also has some really good pace at the moment, and he's leading by about 1 second to Dan Snyder, who's under pressure from Prems. But Jetsy is going to have a bit of a look on Prince Colonte, maybe down in towards the tricky braking section at the end of the straight, but he just has to back off for now and everyone's just, Suarez has a bit of a moment. Suarez not loving these tyres at the moment. Maybe that Red Bull car is just not performing in the dirty air and only could perform when he was in clean air out front. You saw he had so much pace when he was out front by himself. But Jetsi now and and Prince Conte are going to battle here in the French hills, as now Jetsi is going to get past as Juanes picks up another 3-second time penalty, so 6 seconds for the Red Bull driver. Jetsi makes the move though on Prince Conte, and as Juanes is going to go for the dive bomb on Prince into the final corner. He makes it work, but it's going to be a drag race down towards turn 1. Javel with the new fastest lap of 42.6. Very nice lap time from the Mercedes. He has a lot of pace at the moment. Can Juanes make it work around the outside? Prince sends him wide, but Juanes might have the look down towards the next hairpin, but he's just going to have to stick behind for now and hope he can make the move in the next straight, as he's very close to the back of the AlphaTauri right now, and we'll have a look down towards turn 8. Can he make anything work as he comes down the straight? He's just too far behind, and we just have to stick behind, as now Jetsi is catching up to Manya de Cheeks. So this is kind of flipped a coin in this race. Looks like Javel is the new Juanes, and he has the pace at the moment. Meanwhile, Juanes is struggling to get past cars in the specifically Prince Conte and Jetsi, obviously, who we know has the pace, as he just runs wide there, making a bit of a mistake. Has to catch up to these guys, but luckily there's not been too much of a gap that's been built between the top runners and the rest of the grid. It is only about 1.4 from Manya de Cheeks to Prems, but it looks like Prems has a lot more pace than Snyder at the moment, as he's all over the back of the Alfa Romeo, as he has a bit of a moment out of the final corner, and Snyder doesn't look like he can stick with the pace of Javel at the front at the moment. It looks like he's losing a lot of time through the third sector, as during the first and second sector the gap from Dan Snyder to Javel drops to about like 8 to 5 tenths, but then by the end of the lap it's 1.3 between the two drivers. So it just looks like he doesn't have any pace in the the final sector, whereas Javel, that's where he's finding all his pace, as he cannot find any through the first sector. The one man who can is Jetsi, and now he's going to be all over the back of Manya de Cheeks. He's going to deploy the ERS. Manya de Cheeks is not going to defend. He knows the move is coming. Here comes Jetsi up into P4 in this race. Nice clean move from the Alfa Romeo driver, who now moves himself up yet another position. That's Juanes, who was dominating this race until the safety car, cannot make anything work. He cannot make any moves at the moment, and it looks like Dirk is challenging more than he's challenging Prince. So that is rather unfortunate for the Red Bull driver, whose SERP isn't really working. And this is what I mean, the gap is 4 tenths now, and he's lost about 2 tenths through that corner, and he's going to lose more, I think. But Prince has also had quite a poor lap, or their stud is having a really good one, as he has quite a nice final corner. So he's actually managed to keep it close through the final sector now, as Juanes finally gets the move on Prince Conte, and that's over with fastest lap of the Grand Prix, so he's starting to turn up the pace. But as Juanes finally gets past Prince, he's now going to be under pressure from Dirk. He's going to try around the outside, sends Prince deep, and he's going to go for the switchback. Great move from the Mexican driver, as he's going to try go down the inside now, wheel to wheel racing, as Prince is hit off, and Prince is going to cut the corner and take the position back, which he gets a 5-second time penalty for, and Dirk makes a bit of contact with him, as Dirk now wants to get this move done, as Prince lets him through. He knows it was rash of him to cut the corner like that to give his position away, but MW15 now is going to go for the move on Prince as Conan Cron is into the pit lane. MW15 gets the move done on the Dutch driver, who now falls to P9. He's not having the greatest drive right now, but Hezwanis finally got past Prince Colante, so Prince Colante gets back past MW15. So can Hezwanis show his pace that he's been shown all race, as Javel now is starting to come under pressure from Dan Snyder, who still has those 6 seconds of time penalties. So even if he were to get past the Mercedes right now, the Mercedes would still win the race if he stays within 6 seconds and doesn't pick up a penalty himself. But it looks like Prems is starting to fall off on the pace of his teammate, of Dan Snyder and of Javel. Is he's falling about 1.4 off Dan Snyder, but this will still be enough to move him up another position due to the penalties of Dan Snyder. You know, he's starting to make his move on Javel. He knows he has the pace, but Javel will be begging to just get to the end of this race in P1, as Prince and MW15 are going to duel again, keeping it nice and clean. MW15 is going to try around the outside. Prince is going to leave in the space, and MW15 gets the move done, but Prince has quite a bit more ERS, so don't be surprised to see a move, as there's a move. Dan Snyder for the race lead. He gets past Javel, but he sent it deep, so now Javel might have the switchback on the Alfa Romeo as they come round the bend now. Dan Snyder is going to have poor exit. They're both deploying the ERS. Javel has a lot more to deploy though, but it looks like he's going to have to just stick behind the Alfa Romeo just for now. But Dan Snyder now has to build up a gap of 6 seconds to try and win this race. It will be a huge ask from the Alfa Romeo, but if anyone can do it, it is the championship leader, who leads yet another race in Tier 2. But this one, it might not be that easy. Look, he's struggling through the third sector, where Javel finds all his time on the Alfa Romeo. So don't be surprised if the Mercedes has a look back on the Alfa Romeo, as he gets a very nice final corner. He has a bit of a moment on the exit, however, and he has about 20% more ERS than Dan Snyder, so he can afford to burn some to try and get past the Alfa Romeo. But what he just needs to focus on now is keeping it clean and keeping it within 6 seconds of the Alfa Romeo, so he can pick up his first win of this season. Only one win in NRL history for the Mercedes, and that came at Bahrain in the final race of last season, where he picked up a nice win to end off his campaign. Maybe he can pick up another win today. Luca Rosman will definitely be cheering him on from wherever he is, but Javel now just needs to stay within 6 seconds. But you can see the pace difference already, as Dan Snyder has pulled almost a second already to the Mercedes. But Hezwanis, who had all the pace in the first stint, just can't seem to find any on these new inters. Maybe he used them all up at the start of his stint, like we've seen many times in real life, like Hamilton at Turkey, where you get so much grip from the new tyres, but then they go through the grading period, a grading period where and that's DRS and everyone's in the pit lane for softs. And it's a double stack at Red Bull and at Alfa Romeo as well. Well, this is definitely shaking up this race. That is MW15, who is pushed into the pit lane by Prince. Prince just went too fast and has now lost his front wing. Conan Cron is still very far behind, but Dan Snyder keeps his lead. Javel's gone onto the mediums. Why would he do that? Javel's made a huge mistake, and Prems might overtake him on the pit lane exit, and he has. He's passed the ghosted car of Javel, who had a massive mistake, and Javel's off already at turn 1. He's lost it, and he's down to P4. is disastrous for the Mercedes, who's dropped from P2 to P4 to now P6. Why would he pit for the mediums? He had it in the bag, but now he's bottled it and he's gone for the mediums. But Prems can still win this race if he stays within 3 seconds of his teammate. Sorry, not of his teammate. If he stays within 3 seconds of Dan Snyder. Hezwanis now also has another chance to make up the time. He took pole position, so you know he definitely has some pace. In the soft conditions is Jetsy there. Jetsy has picked up a 3-second time penalty, so he will not pick up his guaranteed podium, and that's Prince Clonte. Prince is off and he's stopped on track. He's gone moving again, but Prince Clonte is now dropped to P9 and will not score points, and that's Jetsy. Jetsy's off and he's into the barrier. Jetsy is out of the race, and surely that's a safety car. It is. Jetsy is out of the race. Oh my god. Wiggly style, it definitely does not look like dry conditions. It is a safety car. And Jetsy off, so one of the main championship protagonists is out of the race. And he might have just damaged chances of winning, as now the pack is all bunched up. And Jabil now, he sped into the pit lane. So he's erased any chance of getting a good position, as he had no time penalties, but he just sped into the pit lane and has ruined it. Prince also has no time penalties, but he's going to have to do a lot to get back into this race. He's currently 41 seconds off the pace. Hopefully he can catch the safety car before it comes in, as I presume he will also box the softs like Javille. But looks like the track is pretty much dry now. But that is huge drama. Jetsy, one of the main championship protagonists, is out. He spins at turn 10, the treacherous turn 10, which is caught many drivers out already. He's out of the race and now falls down to P10. Will score 0 points from this race. So unfortunate for the Alfa Romeo, as more bad luck hits him again. He just can't seem to catch a break. But now this has definitely opened up the race. Let's have a look at the time penalties. Dan Snyder still has 6 seconds, whereas Prems, Money the Cheeks and Dirk all have 3 seconds. So if any of these guys can stay within 3 seconds of Dan Snyder, they will win the race. This is a huge opportunity for these 3 drivers. Prems, who's never tasted a victory in NRL. I don't think he's ever gone on the podium either. This would be a great result for him. Money the Cheeks, tier 3 driver, getting a massive win in tier 2. Definitely make a statement. And Dirk, if he can get this win, he can put himself back into the championship battle, where he's fallen off now, 38 points off leader, that's Snyder. But if he can get this win, he could definitely put himself back in championship contention. Or could we see a winner outside of the top 5, sorry. And don't forget MW15, because that 5-second time penalty I think might get removed by the stewards, as it was Javille who drove into the back of him, of course. So that might get removed, as Javille's in to serve his 5-second time penalty and box for new soft. So good tactical play from the Mercedes there, who gets his 5-second out of the way. MW15 could have done that as well, but I presume he will probably just get his removed at the end of the race, as it was unfair, as he got hit by Prince in the back. So this will be a very interesting finish to this race. Can Prince possibly jump Javille? It'd be close, but I think Javille has it. So now we'll have to wait for these two to catch the pack. Thankfully, they're not that far off, so we should get racing this lap. And also Colin Cront, hopefully he can catch up to the pack. Obviously on the first safety car he did not catch up. Maybe he can catch up in this one, but he will have quite the task, as he's 6 seconds off the pack. And I think the safety car will probably come in this lap to allow us 3 laps of racing action, and he's into the pit lane as well, so he will definitely not catch up to the pack. He is also sorry. He's also, no, he's not a lap down. He's on the lead lap, so I don't think he'll catch up though. But safety car could be in this lap. We'll have to watch the notifications at the top of our screen. If it's not, this could give Colin Clunt a good opportunity to catch, but it is unfortunately into the pit lane this lap. So Dan Snyder will lead us away. It's going to be a very interesting end to this race. Dan Snyder versus Prems versus Wayne Cheeks versus Dirk versus Wannis, MW15, Jayville, Prince Clonte. They both have 0 seconds of time penalties. Same with MW15, whose 5 seconds will probably get removed. But anything could happen in these last few laps of this race. Who will win in Tier 2? It's been a fantastic wet race where we saw Haswanis dominate the start of the race until an unfortunate safety car dropped him down to P7 along with Jetsi, who crashed on a drying track, which has brought out this safety car, which will now end this race. This is Haswanis. Haswanis is spun. Haswanis is spun and he's dropped down to P8. And that's disastrous for the Red Bull, who spun on the safety car restart. And now he's going to have to catch up to the pack. And Dan Snyder's gone. Dan Snyder's had a great safety car restart. Dan Snyder's had a great safety car restart. And he's already 8 times clear of Prems. He will not be challenged down towards turn 1. Jayville might be under pressure from Prince. No, sorry. Prince might be under pressure from Haswanis. This is Haswanis who's gone round the outside. Great move from the Red Bull, but Prince is going to look for it back down towards turn 3. Can he get the moved on around the outside? No, he can't. Haswanis holds on. So, good restart from Dan Snyder. He has to pull out 3 seconds now. He's purple 3 sector 1. So this is exactly what the Alfa Romeo needs to do if he needs to win this race. He needs to pull out about... he has to pull out quite a few tenths a lap. I believe it's about 6 tenths per lap. No, it'll be about 7 tenths per lap to win this race. But Prince, he was one of those who didn't have any time penalties. He's now picked up a time penalty at the back, and he's been struggling this race. But Jayville still has no penalty, and he's in P6. So keep an eye on the Mercedes. What's his gap to... He's already 3 seconds off Dan Snyder. But if he can stay within 6 seconds, he could also win this race. But I presume that will not be happening, as these guys will definitely be battling towards the end of this race, and I will definitely drop him behind. As look, he's already going for the move down on the MW15. Can he get the move done? He's out of ERS. MW15 still has some to deploy, so gets a bit of a move as the fastest lap fluctuates. Jayville picks up the fastest lap of the race. It was Prem's for a tiny while, but Jayville picked up the fastest lap, and he's also spun. So that is Jayville's chance of a good finish in this race erased, and he was one of those drivers without a time penalty. So now he's going to have to he can possibly still catch up and salvage something from this race, but that is disastrous for the Mercedes, who had good pace. Will Maida Cheeks look for the move on Prems? Prems is going to defend it inside. Maida Cheeks is just going to stick behind for now. These guys need to work together if they want any chance of beating Dan Snyder. Dan Snyder's not pulled away as much on this lap. The gap is only 1.5. He pulled about a second on the previous lap, I believe, but he's not been able to have the same fate on this lap. But both Dan Snyder and Prems are out of ERS, and Maida Cheeks has 40, Dirk has 40, MW15 is also out of ERS. Haswanis has about 20%, and so does Prince Clonte. Jayville 20% as well. So Maida Cheeks could win this race now, as he has a lot more ERS than these guys in front of him, and Prems is struggling. Prems is all over the shop, as Maida Cheeks is going to try and move around the outside. He's tried to be too opportunistic, and now Dirk, he's going to spin around Dirk, and that is disastrous for the the Ferrari driver, who now drops all the way to P7 and could be under pressure from Jayville. But Prems now 1.8 is the gap. Has anyone picked up a penalty that we don't know of? No, the penalties are all the same. But Dirk with 10 seconds for cutting the corner. Not quite sure what happened there from the Ferrari driver, but he's picked up 10-second time penalty in this race. So unfortunate for the Ferrari driver, but 1.9, it's almost 2 seconds now, but he just needs to keep the gap. Prems just needs to keep the gap, and Money the Cheeks needs to get past Prems if he wants to win this race. So Money the Cheeks has a lot more ERS though, so this might be perfect for the Red Bull driver, because we saw him go for an opportunistic move around the outside. Maybe he can wait for a better moment like this, where he can go for the move. But these guys need to be careful when they're battling, as they don't want to fall out of 3 seconds of Dan Snyder. But Money the Cheeks gets the move done, and now he must work hard to stay within 3 seconds of Dan Snyder if he wants to win this race. Can Money the Cheeks take victory here? Money the Cheeks, the gap is 2.2 seconds now, but Prems will definitely be having a look on this app, and MW15, don't rule him out. With 0 seconds of time penalties, if he gets his 5-second remove, he could also be in the chase for this race win. He has no penalties for exceeding track limits. The gap to leader from him to Dan Snyder is 2.736. Let's keep an eye on that gap, as anything can happen. Now the two McLarens might have a battle, as Dirk cuts the corner again and picks up another time penalty. But MW15 now, Prems now is going to get past MW15 as Dirk is just cutting corners and he's out of this race. That will not affect the final result of this race. Prems now is going to get past, he's going to use his ERS to try and get past Money the Cheeks, but he's fallen out of 3 seconds of Dan Snyder. He's fallen out of the 3-second window. So now Money the Cheeks now could have a look and could win this race possibly if he can stay within 3 seconds, which he's doing at the moment. Prems is not able to do it. He's not able to stay within 3 seconds. Now he's going to be under pressure from his teammate. MW15 is going to have a look down the inside of Prems. He's going to think better of it, stick behind for now. Now his Juanes is going to have a look on him, but his MW15 defends well. The gap is 2 seconds. Surely Money the Cheeks will win this race if he can just stay here. If he can just stay within 3 seconds, as they're coming to the line now to end this race. The gap is 1.9. Dan Snyder will cross the line and will win provisionally on track, but it will be Money the Cheeks who takes a win in Tier 2. If there are no post-race penalties applied, MW15 finishes P4 with Prems his first podium in NRL. Dan Snyder drops to P2, whereas Colonte finishes P5. Jayville 6th with the fastest lap. As Juanes gets P7. The game gives him a 20-second time penalty, which I'm not quite sure what that's about, but he finishes P7. Conan Klon finishes P8 in this race. Rather lonely for the Haas driver, but what a fantastic race, and it's celebrations down at Red Bull, but that could be under review from the stewards. His MW15 could get his 5-second time penalty removed, and Money the Cheeks could possibly get penalised for that contact with Dirk. But it is Money the Cheeks who on track wins the race, wins driver of the day as well. Fantastic race from the Red Bull driver, who gets his first win of the season. Celebrations down at the Red Bull garage. They will be absolutely they will be thrilled with this race victory, but it's disaster for the other Red Bull, for Juanes, who could have had his first win of the season after a great pole position and an imperious first stint. It just didn't pay off for him in the end, as he got rather unfortunate. But a great win and a great race in Tier 2. Wrigley style, GG's Monye, all congratulations to Money the Cheeks, who wins in Tier 2. The Snyder finishes P2, so unfortunately the Dutch Alfa Romeo driver could not pick up his 4th win of the season. Prems finishes P3, and the 15 will finish P4 for McLaren. Good result for McLaren there. Prince Conte finishes P5 for AlphaTauri. Jayville finishes P6 with 8 seconds off the race winner, has won his P7 for Mercedes, and I presume 20 seconds will be removed from his final race time, because I'm not quite sure why the game gave him a random 20-second time penalty. Conan Klon will finish P8, Dirk P9, Jetsy P10, both retired, and then Milky Streamer, Edge RUK, and Dizzy Mason were the other 3 retirees from this race. So a fantastic race here in Tier 2. Didn't pan out the way some people would have wanted it. Great for drivers who it did pan out for, Money in the Cheeks, but a great race in Tier 2 once again, and we'll catch you next week for the, I want to say the British Grand Prix, but I'm not quite sure. It is the Dutch Grand Prix, sorry. So a home Grand Prix for a lot of the drivers here in Tier 2 and across the league, a lot of Dutch drivers in our league, so I'm sure they will all be looking forward to that. But thank you for all joining in the stream today, and I'll catch you next week for Tier 2 Holland Grand Prix. Thank you all.